Hey, this is Austin here. How's it going? Um, this is my first video I've ever posted on YouTube, and got a little Pink Floyd playing in the background here. The song "Astronomy Don't Mind," and I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. They're like my all-time favorite group. You know, no group today can ever compare to them, and I'm a big music fan. I've been that way my entire life, and so I'm going to be posting videos on YouTube about my favorite artists. I'm going to be talking about their albums, and I'm also going to be posting videos on YouTube about my favorite movies as well, because I'm a big film buff as well. But anyway, back to Pink Floyd. I'm going to do an album review of every single album they ever released, and I'm going to start out with their debut album, of course, which is The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. And I have every single album, every single studio album they ever released, and I've listened to every single one of them. And this was The Piper at the Gates of Dawn was the debut album by Pink Floyd, and the only Pink Floyd album to feature their original lead singer, original guitarist, and original songwriter Syd Barrett. Pink Floyd, of course, was one of the many British groups out of the 60s, you know, like along with other groups like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Yardbirds, the list just goes on and on. The Animals, the Who, just a lot of great groups came out of the UK during the 1960s. And the group was originally called the T-Syd, and they also used the name Sigma Six. And Syd joined the group, I think, in 1966, and came up with the name the Pink Floyd Sound after two American blues musicians, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. And they later, by the time they released their debut album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, on August 4th of 1967, they just shortened the name to simply Pink Floyd. This album was recorded from February to July at EMI Studios in London in 1967, and it's one of the great debut albums of all time. I mean, it's definitely right up there with another great album from another great British group that was released in 1967. Of course, I'm talking about Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. This album right here is definitely right up there with it. And the songs on the album are very psychedelic, this was during a very important period in music history when psychedelic music was really at its heyday. This was 1967, and you had so many great psychedelic bands like Cream, the Jefferson Airplane, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. But the songs on this album here, like Astronomy Don't Mind, Lucifer Sam, Flaming, they're really great songs, really great psychedelic songs. My favorite songs, particularly on this album, is Flaming. And when you hear those songs, and you hear all the other songs on this album that Syd wrote, like Bike, Chapter 24, The Gnome, and Scarecrow, it goes to show just what a great, talent he was as a musician, as a singer, as a songwriter. And people seem to focus on his mental breakdown later on after The Piper at the Gates of Dawn was released, and which ultimately forced him to leave Pink Floyd in 1968. But you know, Sid was a genius and just one of the true great geniuses in music history. There's no question about that. Syd Barrett was the man. Um, my second favorite song off The Piper at the Gates of Dawn is probably Chapter 24. This is a song that features words from that Chinese book, the I Ching, or the Book of Changes, and it features lyrics like the movement is accomplished in 6 stages, and the 7th brings return. Those are the lyrics from Chapter 24, and Sid got those lyrics from the I Ching, or Book of Changes. That's a Chinese book that's like 3,000 years old, and so and all the other songs I like off The Piper at the Gates of Dawn is The Scarecrow, Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk. That's one written by Roger Waters. Matilda Mother, and just a great album. Just a great debut album by Pink Floyd, a group that would go on to be one of the most commercially successful groups of all time. This is a group that sold well over 200 million albums worldwide, including over 74 million albums here in the United States alone. And after Sid, they would release other great albums too, like Metal, Obscured by Clouds, Dark Side of the Moon. That's was a huge seller right there. Animals, The Wall. But this is the album that got all started for them. It's one of the great debut albums of all time. It's in Rolling Stone's 2003 list of the 500 greatest albums of all time, and rightfully so. So that's about it with my review for Pink Floyd's first album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I'm wearing my Dark Side of the Moon t-shirt, as you can see here. That's my favorite Pink Floyd album. I have that album on CD and on vinyl as well. And I'll be back shortly with more album reviews about Pink Floyd and some of my other favorite groups like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Deep Purple. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Please feel free to send me whatever comments you like on my video. Alright? Bye.